Hello, everyone, and welcome to Quad Radio once again as the all-new quad-radio.com is back up and rolling, and our next interview coming with none other than the AMA Pro ATV Motocross defending champion. We're talking Wienen Motorsports, Chad Wienen. We'll be talking with him as well, picking his brain about some of the things going on thus far this season and a few other things that is coming up as well. And certainly just want to say thanks to Jeff from over at Santor Designs once again for redesigning the Quad Radio website. The new actual location is quad-radio.com, but we're still sticking to the name Quad Radio because that's what it's all about. Like us on Facebook if you haven't done so far, and follow us on Twitter and all that good stuff, and we'll have all that different information available for you right there on the new Quad Radio website. And also, again, a shout out and thanks to Tire Balls, Pat McGuire, good things going on over there at also Impact Solutions with Jay Goebel, Big Steve Walker, and Old Tread over there at Impact Solutions is, of course, your Elko Suspension headquarters, as well as Maxxis Tires. So just want to say thanks to those guys, Jay Goebel especially, for believing in Quad Radio and in its inception. Of course, we've had a couple of bumpy years, but I think we're getting back on track. And speaking of back on track, a guy that actually has never gotten off track, I don't think since, at least since that injury a few years ago when that first championship eluded him, and then he was able to come back in an amazing, what I would say miraculously come back and win that championship the next year. And we're talking about none other than big Chad Wienen as we say hello to Chad. Chad, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, actually. Just chilling out. We're having a good couple weeks off of racing and been back home, been able to get kind of our feet underneath ourselves and get everything situated back home and really focus on some more training and getting ready for our round 3 coming up at High Point.
Yeah, big things coming up. I mean, it's hard to believe that, it seems like it was such a long off season, and then we get that little nibble of motocross racing at Georgia, and then, of course, Muddy Creek, and then we get what seems like, what was it, like a 6-week break or something like that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a six-week break, and, realistically, we'll be coming into this third round. It's going to be like round 1 all over again. There's guys that were off pace a little bit, and, they're going to be able to get their pace built up, and also you could see guys that had trouble keeping their focus on these 6-week break, and you just never know what's going to go on in round 3.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, it does leave a lot to question there because the guys got a chance to gauge themselves against you. You did them as well, but you came in at the top of your game where some of those guys may not have been at the level you were, Chad. So they've been pushing pretty hard, I'm sure, to try to achieve that level. And I'm sure you've had to work extra hard to try to step your level up even more, huh?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, just getting back home, I'm really happy with the track back here at home, and just being home, there's nothing like it, and getting that feeling of kind of weight off your shoulders, being off the road, and being home with family, and riding in what I call my backyard. So I'm loving it right now. So I'm really excited about what is to come.
Yeah, I bet you are, especially since you get to spend it with your new wife being at home. I know you guys spend time out on the road and stuff, but being at home is a whole different atmosphere. I mean, I'm sure it's good on the relationship, it's good on the training program, it's just good on everything mentally all the way around because you've pretty much been gone since, Christmas or 1st of January anyway?
Yeah, we actually headed down a couple days after Christmas this year, and it's a long off season. It's a good 3-4 months on the road, and it's a challenge. And for Danica, my wife, being able to put up with me for that long in a small area, and also the Borich family, and them kind of opening their doors and letting us stay down at their place in Daytona Beach. So it's really fun off season, a lot of training, a lot of hard work going on, and we're glad to be back home.
Yeah, and I know that your buddy, since last time I talked to you, and I don't know, maybe since the last time you even saw him, had a chance to achieve his historical most wins record there in the GNCC, man. I know that that was pretty cool probably for you from a friend standpoint to see him be able to achieve that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, just seeing how much hard work that he puts into it, we almost see ourselves on the same level and the same, hard work effort. And, it's good to see, hard work paying off.
And let me ask you something. I saw it start to weigh a little bit of weight on him there toward the actual race that was going to make it happen, that he was going to cross that threshold. I mean, those first few rounds, I mean, even at Georgia, I think he said, I just want to get this weight off and get this monkey off my back and get this record over and done with. Did he talk about that any at all whenever you guys were training together in the off season by any chance?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, I really didn't hear much of it. I heard more after the first round, being more talked of it at the first round that I was actually at. And I think he sees it kind of like me. He welcomes on challenges and performs better when the pressure's on. And it's there's not many people that really do have that, and a lot of people can fumble at that goal and almost fall short, but he's one of those guys that really knows how to push through the hard times. Yeah,
that's for sure. And I gotta ask, I mean, I know you had an intense training program. Were you at all impressed with what Chris Borich has to do from the off-road aspects of the ATV racing?
Well, I mean, he definitely had some different things that he did, and one of the bigger things was his stamina on a motocross track, and they did a lot of their training in the off season on the motor tracks, and he was able to go out there and ride a tank of fuel, no problem, and he didn't drop off pace very much, so that was probably one of the more impressive things. And also like his road cycling abilities. He knows how to really suffer really well, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I do. I do know what you mean. It's I'm sure he's had to suffer quite a bit out on the trail, so suffering those days makes it easier whenever he's actually in a race and a battle out there.
Yep, for sure.
But, Will, that part of your break, obviously, that sounds like a pretty good time hanging out at the Boriches and stuff like you had mentioned. Now, what about since those first two rounds are over and you are home, what has been going on? I mean, weather-wise, has things turned around for you out there?
Yeah, I mean, actually, the weather, right when I got back home, weather was really nice, and got my track in line, been down to, Sunset Ridge, that'll be our round 4. And been riding down there with some of the local guys and going down on the weekends and really having a good time, and just going and not putting too much pressure on myself and training every single day and kind of toning back the amount of riding that I'm doing just so this big long break that I don't get burnt. And it's just one of those things where you got to be smart and on this longer break than what we're used to.
Right.
Overtraining can hurt you.
Yeah, exactly. I was wondering about that, man. I mean, do you have to take like a few days off a week or a week or two off just to kind of not put yourself in that predicament?
Yeah, I mean, when I came home, I just kind of took the first week and kind of got everything kind of lined up around the house. It was bad winter back here, really cold, and just got everything kind of lined out, got the track lined out, and came back and rode that following weekend, and really felt good to get back on the machine. And I've been kind of just riding whenever I feel like I want to go out and ride, and I've been putting pretty good time in, and having a lot of fun back home riding.
Well, that's great, man. I mean, it's good to be able to relax, and soon we'll be actually heading to Walnut, Illinois, like you said, not the next round, but the round after that, I believe. We'll be at High Point here in a couple weeks, and I want to talk about some special things coming up with that. But first, I want to get your take on the first 2 rounds of racing. A lot of things new and different for the 2014 season. We're talking later race times. We're talking shorter race times as far as the actual moto goes and things like that. And I mean, it just kind of puts a whole new perspective on things, I think, Chad.
Yeah, I mean it's been something to adapt to, and I think the hardest thing is kind of, we're used to having a day that we're just, rushing around the whole day at the track, and now it's more of a laid back, once we do the gate drops, it's quick, but leading up to the first gate drop, the day kind of drags on a little bit, but, it seems like we've had a pretty good fans coming in through the gates and watching our events, and, I think that them changing the times actually has helped out with that cause. And the shorter races, I'm not completely sold on, just because I'm more of a hard training and make my money later in the races. And we've had really good racing, and I think with the shorter motos, that's why we've had the really, really tight racing.
And Chad, yeah, what about those first two rounds?
Well, just coming into the first two rounds, and a lot of people, you don't know where people are going to be at, and you just know where your training has been, and really went in there, just focus on good starts and clean laps, and knowing that it's going to be the 15-minute motos, that it's going to be an all-out sprint the whole time, and got good starts, came out of the gate top 3 both motos, and really just rode a smart, calculated race, and knew what I had to do to get over the overall position. And the first moto, I was able to make a pass on John and catch Joel, and able to make a pass on him for the lead, and just kind of be able to ride my own race from there. And it was perfectly calculated race for me, and just a strong showing on the first gate drop. And second moto, John got the start, and I knew that I didn't have to really get by him, but I mean, I was working, trying to, just because I was getting a lot of pressure from behind me, and there's 5 of us, on the tail end of John, and it was just one of those motos where I believe I came out and showed him all my lines the first moto when I did make passes on him, and that kind of hurt me for the second moto. But all in all, came out points lead in the first event of the year, and was able to move on to the second race at Muddy Creek, and the track was totally different there, hard packed and dry slick, and totally different bike setup, and we were able to hit our setup, and our tires were working awesome from Maxxis, and the shocks from Fox, and motor from Alaska Motorsports was ripping, and got good starts again, and same sort of deal first moto with John getting the start, and just having to kind of funnel into a lot of the same lines, and there's a lot of the faster lines were all dominant to the very insides, and if you didn't open up your lines, it was really hard to get around, and came up second in the first moto, and second moto came second out of the start behind Upperman, made a quick pass on him, and was able to just put in smooth laps and able to gap the guys that were behind me and ride a smooth race to the end. And now that's what I like to go home with, is a strong start and make a pass for the lead, and ride my own race from there. And it was an excellent weekend.
That's pretty great, man. And any big surprises for you as far as the competition this year? I mean, you got the players that you expected to play, or some people stepped up and showed you something you weren't expecting, or somebody not there that you expected to be, or anything?
I mean, not really. I mean, the biggest thing was my teammate Thomas. He kind of struggled with the first couple motos of the year, and I really figured that he would be up there stronger, battling with me, and he was a little bit off pace, but I really believe that he'll be coming back strong at this next round here in High Point, and it's kind of going to a bigger track as well. Like High Point's a big national track, and big hills up and down, and I think that'll separate a lot of the crowd that we've been racing with, and also you could see I mean, definitely Creamer. I mean, he's gonna shine out here one of these motos, and he's really been there, like, top three. He's got a lot of potential, and then you have Joel that's got a spark of speed in him, and he'll be there'll be a lot of motos where he'll get really good starts, and he'll be a tough contender. Then John, he's the wily veteran, and he's one of the toughest guys to get around, and he's been nailing his starts, for the last 4 motos, and that makes it really tough to beat that.
It does, man. So at least you got a challenge. It's not like you're going out there and doing it easy, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And take a look at Upperman. He really struggled the first 2 motos of the year, and he came out and got a podium the next round, and he was able to turn his program around in those 2 weeks that we were the one weekend that we were off. So I mean, anybody can come out and do that, and it's pretty cool to see him up on the podium. And I really think that you'll have those guys throughout the whole year that'll be buzzing the podium like that.
Exactly. And I'm looking for exciting finishes all the way around. And also with that, you talked about your teammate Thomas Brown there a couple moments ago. You got another teammate this year, and you've actually got a rider in the Pro-Am class, Nick Janusa. And yep. Honestly, he's looking pretty good, I think, on that Yamaha, even though he probably hasn't shown exactly what, he had hoped to show right off the bat. But I don't think anybody's had that kind of luck in the Pro-Am class yet this year.
Yeah, I mean, that class has been, it seemed like it flipped totally around from round 1 to round 2, and there's a lot of competitive guys in there that are all riding the same speed. And I told Nick, the biggest thing is that you just got to stay consistent. He's only a matter of, single-digit points out of the points lead. And, I told him, like, you realistically, it'd be good for you to go out there and, win these first couple rounds, but most importantly, I want you to be consistent and not take yourself out of the championship in the first 2 rounds.
Exactly, and I think that's a great opportunity for you to mentor him, man. And him coming to your program, man, he comes from somewhat under the guidance of Travis Spader, who's a former champion of the series himself. So you had a well-groomed rider whenever he came to your team, I guess, huh? Yeah,
I mean, Travis taught us some things, and I was able to work in the things that I know, and he's really had a good off season, and he hasn't rode to his full potential yet, and hasn't been able to nail his starts and get up with the front runners. And the last round he made a ton of passes, and it's just one of those things where you have a shorter race, so you got to be able to start out front and race with the guys up front.
And speaking of which, I'm sure that round 3, as we've said and alluded to so many times, is going to probably be a whole different story once these guys have had a chance in this long off season to get back at it here in just a few weeks. But also just some neat things coming up about High Point. I mean, getting to go back there, number one, that's to me seems to be a pretty good track. I really like the action there at High Point as far as, if we're going to go between High Point and Steel City in choice of tracks there. To me, I like High Point a little better.
Yeah, I mean, I call it a bigger track, and, the big ups and downs, and it gets pretty nasty rough there every once in a while, and it all depends on how they pick the track. And, we're just looking forward to getting to, like, a bigger national track where we can really open up the machines, and really that start is it's a big uphill start, so that's a really cool start to be able to start from. And I think our engine package that we have, we've been having really good luck with the uphill starts, and we're really excited what is about to come.
Yep, I'm excited because that also round will also be doing live coverage of that particular event on racertv.com with ATV MX Live, and that's something new and bold for the ATV motocross. Now, just to remind folks that I believe it's May 5th, if I'm not mistaken. I believe the first episode of Racer TV on MAV TV, American Real, is going to be airing the condensed version of round one on there from Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. But the great thing about it is that we also have the luxury of showing both motos from High Point Raceway there on racertv.com. It's all going to be live. I think that's something that is got to be exciting from a racer's standpoint.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's going to be the first time for us. And they've had it over at GNCC, and talking to some of the guys that actually do the live broadcasting from there, they really stated that it actually wouldn't be very difficult to be able to do a motocross race, being that it's so compact. And I'm really pumped about it. A lot of friends and family from back home are going to be tuning in that don't always get to go to the events, and hopefully this will be a starting point of us being able to have this opportunity more often and get into a routine of having more fan base and people tuning in to watch our live action.
Yeah, for sure. I know I'm excited about it, and I think that everyone else will be too. They'll have, I know that we were on a call. I work with, now this website, Quad Radio, is mine, and that has nothing to do with any of that stuff, but I was on a conference call and working with those guys, and we were talking about a few options and how things are going to be done and stuff. And I know I'm getting excited, the crew's getting excited, and yeah, like you said, it's going to be one of the easier things that we do as a live broadcast, because normally we're shooting a 12-mile racetrack or something crazy like that. So I think that a mile and a half racetrack will be a lot easier to cover.
Yeah, I would say so. And we're thankful for that opportunity, and we're hoping that this will build on something that will be into a routine. And one of the probably coolest things is I have a ton of family back home and friends that they tune in for the live timing, and they say that they're yelling at the computer, and it'll be pretty exciting for them to be able to see it live, and I think they're going to be going nuts if they're able to watch it. I know that.
That'll be great. And like you say, man, I hope it's something we can see more of in the future. But anyway, Chad, I know it's getting late in the interview here, but one other thing that I wanted to touch on you with is the fact of the program that you have built for yourself, the Wienen Motorsports program. Whenever basically you went out on a limb and built that whole program yourself, and obviously with the support of Yamaha, but a lot of other great folks, man. I mean, you've put together something extremely good as far as the program goes, and it's something that you can pass along to the other racers out there. I mean, you guys are a full-on business now. Yep,
and it was a good thing to really get started, and it was actually a huge team effort. It was my vision to be able to go that route, but without all the sponsors behind us and the personnel that we have in the right places, really everything has gone so smoothly. And having a great team, it's a strong 3-rider team at the Nationals, but we have over 15 amateur riders that we help out this year, and we're really, really excited about that. It's something that we dipped into new this year, and being able to, we sell all the products that we race on our machines, and not just for the Yamaha brand, for any brand. And if they sell it from our sponsor standpoint, we can get it for you. And that's something that we've dipped into this year, and this is a really cool opportunity, and really keeps me busy. I know that, and also being able to expand Wienen Motorsports and having more people on board to help us out and really build this sport.
That's awesome that you're able to do that, man, because, I mean, in reality, what that is doing is it's giving you a future in the sport for a long, long time, man. I mean, not only, are you racing and doing well with it right now, but even after you're done racing, I mean, that's a business that, a legitimate business you'll be able to keep afloat for a long time after you're finished racing, it looks like.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, I mean, I'm not going to be able to do this forever, but I'm going to do it as long as I can, as long as I am having fun at it. And, it's a sport that I love being around, and, I can't get enough of it. So why not plan for the future and, build something off of the success that I've been able to have, and, the whole Wienen Motorsports, and, having Yamaha backing us, and the guys from SSI, Ian, and, Walsh family, and,
right.
Max just being huge contribution to our program, and Alaska Motorsports, and, there's just so many out there, and I don't want to use up all this time to, bore everybody on our sponsor list, but, if there's anything that you need, Yamaha, Honda, Suzuki, Cam, we've dealt with them all, and, we can definitely help you out in any way, shape, or form.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And also, I do want to say thanks to Ian at SSI Decals. Also, he was a supporter and is a supporter of Quad Radio also. And I didn't say that in the beginning, I don't think, and I really meant to. But Ian, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And also, I know I kind of lied to you. I said I have one more thing I wanted to ask you, but there is one more question I do have. And that last question is, Chad, if you weren't ATV racing, what would you be doing right now?
I mean, I have a strong, I have a strong love for, for stick and ball sports, and, I really love football, and it's a big team sport, and I'd probably try and go with that route, but, it's not a guarantee for anything, and nothing ever is, but, I'd have to do something that definitely keeps my adrenaline pumping. I know that.
Well, that's great. That's great. And I'm glad you found your place here in the ATV motocross world, man, because the ATV racing nation needs people just like you to set standards, I believe. And, man, just thanks for the great rides that you have given us and the great rides that are surely to come, man.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you. That's
two-time AMA ATV National Motocross Champion Chad Wienen. I'm Rodney Tomlin. This is the new Quad Radio.